we're ready to go. So, hi. So, we're going to use the bottle. The thing with Elephant Toothpaste is that it makes a big, giant. But are we nervous for big, giant messes around? No, because that's what we do here at Miss Steph Science Hub. We make messes. And then, of course, we clean them. Elephant Toothpaste. Why is it called Elephant Toothpaste? It's actually serious misnomer. It does nothing like help you brush your teeth. That's not what it does at all. Okay? But is it cool and exciting, and does it involve an amazing chemical reaction? Yes, it does. Y-E-S. Yes, it does. All right, so like I said, thank you so much for joining me. My apologies for not being here exactly at the time in which I planned. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to keep it moving. So things that you'll need for your Elephant Toothpaste are the following. You need some water. You need water. Water. You need water. You need let's go with purple because y'all know how I feel about purple. You absolutely need food coloring. You need dry yeast. I strongly recommend the rapid yeast for this, just because it's going to make it more fun. And it will help it react faster. You also absolutely need peroxide. Okay, now you've seen me in the past use different types of peroxide, or not types, but the peroxide in different forms. Remember that time where we used the hair dye conditioner to see whether or not the peroxide concentration was high enough to be able to make this reaction happen? Do y'all remember that? I remember that, and it was really fun. But again, we're kind of doing old school today. So yes, so you need, like I said, you need peroxide. This stuff is I want to say it's the 3% stuff. Okay. So this is just your drugstore stuff. Okay. And then, like I said, the rapid rise yeast is perfect for this. Like, perfect. It really works the best. Okay. And you've got your dry yeast. Okay. Hi, thank you. I've got a happy birthday over here on Facebook. Thank you. All right. And then you need some water. I'm going to put my rapid yeast into my water, and I'll leave that just for a second. Just for a second. For a second. All right. Of course, you need your food coloring. All right. So let's go ahead and get everything into the bottle. I am going to use a bottle today for my Elephant Toothpaste reaction. Now, when you use a bottle, you want to make sure that you base the volume. You base the volume of your peroxide on the size of your bottle, right? Because remember, the Elephant Toothpaste is that reaction where things come up and it looks like it's elephant-sized toothpaste being squeezed out of its toothpaste container. That's where it gets its name, okay? But you have to make sure, as the awesome and wonderful chemist that you are, you have to make sure that you've got enough reagents, as in chemicals, inside of the bottle to make that overflow happen. Because Curly Head Rose over here can tell you about the issues of not having enough of each reagent inside of your container, right? You know, when we do our traditional activity of vinegar and baking soda, the vinegar and baking soda reacts every time you put those two things together. But you will not get an overflow every time if the amount of reagents you put inside of your cup are not big enough to overflow the size of the cup. Yeah? All right, so I'm going to put a really serious amount. And yes, I have this much peroxide. I have been holding on to this peroxide for months now so that I can do this activity with you. Uh-huh. What is reagent? I have a question about what is reagent. Reagent, okay, is part of a chemical reaction. It is one of the things that reacts, okay? So reagent is actually really just another way of saying material. Material. All right, so you see how I've got this up here? This should really be plenty. This should be plenty. This should be plenty. Okay, and this is my peroxide. And you notice how the hydrogen peroxide looks so much like water. Is it water? Absolutely not. Do we consume it? No. Do not drink it because that will make you sick, like literally. Okay? Now, let's add our food coloring. What color are we using? Because it's my birthday. Mm-hmm. So you know we're using purple, people. We're using purple. And we're going to use plenty. If I can get it to come out of the container. All right? You all know. You know my trick. Okay? So, y'all, thank you for joining me today for our live cake and chemistry. And this is the chemistry part of the cake and chemistry. And I'm just doing a little agitation, 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 agitation. Looking at this is probably going to be way too much peroxide in here, but it's my birthday. So I get to be silly and be excessive. Yes, I do. All right, so I'm now adding my soap. Which again, I'm probably adding way too much soap. But whose birthday is it? Mine. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. I have inside of my water bottle, yes, reduce, reuse. Honey, I've used this water bottle so many times. Like I cannot count. Like I'm way past knowing how many times I've used this water bottle. Okay. And so I feel like it's been reused several times, right? So I have hydrogen peroxide, your drugstore concentration of it, of hydrogen peroxide inside of this bottle. No more than half, y'all. If you put half, it's probably going to be way too much. I have food coloring, a plethora of food coloring. Y'all saw I put like three generous drops of food coloring inside of there. And then in this cup over here, I have my yeast, specifically my rapid rise yeast, and I have it inside of some water. Room temperature water. I didn't heat up the water because for this reaction, you actually don't have to necessarily do that. All right. And you notice all I did was give it a swirl. I don't really have to stir it. Now, before I move on, before I mix these things together, I want you to think through with me and give me an idea of what you think is going to happen. Based on what I said during the lesson lunch. You know how I am. I gave like a full entire lesson lunch and everything. Yeah, I know. I'm going to tilt. What do you think is going to happen when I add the reagent? Okay, when I add the reagent, what do you think will happen when I add this yeast and water mixture together? So I have someone wanting to be in my live. Let's see if we can add Devin Rose and let her come on and be live with me over here on Instagram. I think that's fun. It's going to overflow is what we have over here on Facebook. It's going to overflow. That's what y'all really, 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 are you sure that that's what's going to happen? Okay, enough with the suspense, right? Enough? You think? Let's go. What? And what did I tell you? I had way too much. I don't care. It's my birthday. About engineering and all those types of things. And really, this puff paint recipe has just got 3 components in it, and each component represents an attribute that you want your puff paint to have, right? So it needs to be puffy, it needs to be colorful, and what's our final attribute that it needs to be able to do? What does it need to do? Yes, it needs to be able to stick to your surface. So we're going to need shaving cream, glue, some various food coloring colors. I know you don't see purple because I don't think I'm going to do purple. I think I'm going to just make the 3 primary colors. I'm going to make a yellow, a blue, and a red. Okay? And then I have my cups. And I have spoons somewhere. And of course, paste. Is he watching in the background? Yes. All right. So the order in which you add your components into your cups can make a difference as well. Can be really helpful in being able to make it stir and being able to make it easy to apply, so on and so forth. Additionally, your spoons or your craft sticks, if you so choose, right, can be used as what? Curly head. Mixing tool, but I can also use it to do what? Think craft stick. If it was a craft stick, I could do exactly, right? I can use that to apply it to my paper. All right, so I've got a full can of shaving cream. Pardon. All right, so I've got a question over here on Instagram from my co-host. Okay. And Meta, we need to do this with the twins one time. Okay. Where they come on and ask me questions too. So she's asking if we could put the glue down first. I don't do that anymore. One of the issues with putting the glue down first is that to get it to stir and to get the glue to mix in well is such a challenge that it's not worth it. Additionally, the puff is the component that you want to have the most of, right? And so that's your shaving cream. And then, like I said, the glue, if it's at the bottom, is really hard to mix in, okay? Really, yeah. So you can do it that way, but I have learned that it's actually easier to do the glue on top of the shaving cream. Okay. Purple is my favorite color. I use purple for our other thing, the thing that I'm pointing to, which you guys know is the elephant toothpaste. But I also enjoy primary colors. I also enjoy teaching about the awesomeness of primary colors and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do that. All right, so let's tilt you down. Let's tilt you down. All right. So that you can actually see what I'm doing. You're still going to see our guest, our guest host. Okay. All right. So now you see I've got the puffy component, which is the shaving cream. I've got the glue, which will help it stick to paper. And I've had questions in the past about whether or not you have to use white glue and all that kind of stuff. Do you have to use white glue? No. Is it the easiest and the most financially sound? Yes. So the liquid gel, I'm using the liquid gel because it's very potent and I only have to add like 1 or 2 drops. Okay, so let's just do 2 for the yellow. All right. Blue, I know you like blue, but I'm still only going to do 2 because you know blue is a very strong pigment. Okay. Now the red and white typically make pink. So I'm going to actually do 3 drops so that I actually get something as close to red, 2, 3 as possible. Okay. And then all I got to do is just mix it up. Okay. And here's my paper. You can use whatever color paper you want. Right? Because it's your project. I'm gonna put some red down. And so sometimes my students will rub it like this. Okay, but if you do that, that like makes it completely flat and it doesn't let it remain puffy. So I'm applying it with this kind of gentleness. Okay, so again, this activity helps us use our science knowledge. It allows us to be creative. And any of my students can tell you I have this thing with just kind of making these like just blobs and shapes and stuff. I don't typically make like a landscape or whatever. She's laughing at me, over here on Instagram because she knows it's true. Like when I demonstrate, I'm always like, just make it like this. I just do things like that. I have a tendency to not really, or like it just kind of always is. So I'm going to put this. I don't know if we can try to make something different today. I don't know. But I'm using, right. So again, thinking about color theory and all that type of stuff, if I were to mix these colors together, right, I would get some secondary colors, you get tertiary colors, all that type of stuff. So we can learn a lot just from mixing a few household materials together, of my colors together. Party! I think we're having a good little party, right? How do we feel? It looks like Grayson gave me a little comment. We've got the twins over here. Like, how do we feel about our party? No, no comments. No one's gonna comment. Come on now. Green. I will make green for him before we log out. I actually might be able to make green out of this. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. Okay, so we're getting this. I don't know what this color is. Kind of gray blue challenge situation, right? So one of the things that is important to understand is that after you have, I'm so glad that they think this is going great. Other chemicals inside, that affects how the colors themselves are mixing together. I'm going to repeat that because that may sound like it was kind of a confusing statement. After you have other chemicals, i.e. the shaving cream, the glue, anything else we may have put inside, right? Or like when we did our project that I've now like got on my floor. After you have those different chemicals inside, it now will change how the colors react to each other. So that's that. Now, let's add 2 drops of green over here. Okay. Is Sir still watching? Is Master Grayson still watching so he can see me make green for him? Okay, mine is slow too. All right. Aha. My multicolored clouds. All right, I'm always making multicolored clouds. It's kind of what I do. All right, so let's kind of recap a little bit. And then since I have so many of you on where you can react, we can, I know the video is very choppy today on Instagram and Facebook. Hi, did you see I made green for you? Favorite color. All right. So this is what I've created. I encourage you all to make your own. Today we made elephant toothpaste. I know, crazy. Elephant toothpaste. And we also made some puff paint using some basic household materials. All right. So and for those of you who are comfortable with your young scientist being up, we can talk about it and schedule for you to co-host too. You like green? Okay, yes. The 2 green and blues, right? Which is similar to some of our other science club members that are very particular about their green and blue. Hello to my green and blue scientists. There are 5 children I'm thinking of right now who love green and blue. Yes, we run Mist of Science Club, and every Saturday we're on here at 2:30-ish. Doing a live and doing some fun science things. Now, next week, I am taking the holiday weekend. I know. And so the next time you see me on a Saturday will be that first Saturday in December. That being said, keep in mind there's all kinds of things that are going on between now and that first Saturday in December. We just came out of Cake and Chemistry. I'm going to post a picture of my cupcake for you guys because hello, it's fun. And please feel free to post pictures of your cupcakes for me to celebrate with you. Okay. So we're coming out of cake and chemistry. And then we've got our Breaking Barriers campaign. We're going to hop into that campaign really fiercely now. We've been doing some things that you've probably heard about, but we're going to really hop in now. We've got Giving Tuesday. And then, of course, year end, folks. Breaking Barriers includes, hi, Gracie, it includes the Cake and Chemistry, Giving Tuesday, and year end, okay? And you're supporting what we're doing. These lives, the other things that I do throughout the week to bring hands-on exciting science education activities to you. So that's my spiel. Did you have a spiel that you wanted to share with us, Curly Head, before we go? No, not today. That's fine. So we're going to go. Thank you so much, everyone that joined over here on Facebook. I'm going to say thank you. I know it was a challenge, but thank you. Okay. And so you all know how it goes. I sign off on IG first, and then we'll sign up on Facebook. Bye. Thank you so much for joining.